What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're breaking down UFC Vegas 75 Vettori versus Cannonier. And as always, go down, like and subscribe, comment your thoughts on this card. We do want to hear them. And these are your hosts. I'm Paul Pick and Wyndham Concha, and I'm joined with.
Hey man, you already know it's Kev Waterboy Savoy, aka the Don PYE, aka the realest motherfucker on your screen. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Paul. I love this card. This shit had everything you needed. It had finishes. It had motherfucking. It had chaos, pandemonium. It had motherfucking. It had a robbery. There was some people were saying that there was a robbery, and then motherfucking. It had the refs fucking up. Like it had everything you needed.
You had Dominic Cruz proving his
That,
point.
that shit is crazy. Like for the Dominic Cruz, and Dominic Cruz, we gonna respect him as a professional because he definitely could have chewed bro out for that one. But he was just like, nah, we gonna keep it moving. But where you want to talk first, man? I know you peeped your cousin Zach Pog. I always forget how to say his last name.
But this is why the people laugh at the Ultimate Fighter. Because it's like the Zach Pogba losing and Muhammad Usman, I think he won the last fight, did he? I can't even remember. But it's just like these are like fighters at this point where people are just gonna keep making fun of.
Juliana Miller.
Juliana Miller, it's just like I don't know. Like it's just not looking good for the brand, Dana. It doesn't look good for the brand. These are damn near PFL level guys.
Yeah, I respect it. I'm not gonna lie though, they got some hitters on this season. I will say that, but we'll talk about that when we talk Ultimate Fighter shit. But they got like the people that fought this week, Trevor Wells and the Dagestani dude. Like they got some hitters. Like, and then it's also all former prospects, It's all prospects and former vets. So like people that fought in the UFC. So they got some hitters. I just think they got to get this stuff figured out because they're still hoping that they're still playing it like this is on Spike or something. Like, nah, homie, this is the end. Like let's go ahead and take it up a
Big
couple
money.
Notches. But so Zach Pogba lost unanimous decision. Now on to fight number 2, Ronnie Lawrence versus Dan Argueta. No contest. Did you see this one, Paul?
I didn't see the fight. I did see the clip though of the when the ref moved. Keith Peterson literally moves his hand, forces him to hit back basically, and in the moment he taps the back, Keith Peterson calls it a submission.
Yeah, that was terrible. So my the way I saw this fight was like, okay, it would be different. It would be different if it wasn't that it would be different if it wasn't that big it would be different if it like bro wasn't losing the first round. So like he lost the first round. So he was already losing the fight in the sense. And then you get Brett gets the submission. He grabs him in the guillotine. He's holding him down. And I don't think the position would have changed. Like I think if Keith Peterson just gave that bitch an extra 10, 15 seconds, the fight would have been called. But the thing was, I also don't know if Keith Peterson is all the way wrong. That's the thing. Because the reason why he put the hand, he went to go to see if bro was still awake. We didn't know if bro was still alive in there. So motherfucking, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So like, I just want to know, who do you think gets the fight bonus?
But with the way how some of these people be complaining about UFC pay, I don't think either one of them gets the fight bonus.
That's crazy. You don't think Dana's like, all right, man, I'm gonna give you, I got you with the fight bonus.
Homie that was winning, I think he might get the fight bonus because, like you said, like he was looking pretty dominant. It wasn't like it was like a nick and for knack fight. It was kind of like he was winning on the feet and then takes him down and then gets in the guillotine. And yeah, you can argue second and third round, but the way it was looking was it might not have went a second or third round. So like I probably would have gave it to homeboy who had the guillotine submission. I would have gave him some of the bonus.
Yeah, Argetta was a problem, man. But I respect it. But Keith Peterson, that was a bad move. And I respect him for calling it because I feel like a lot of most refs wouldn't have called it. Herb Dean would have looked at what the show ass like, you would have got choked out anyways, bro. Get the fuck out of my face.
No facts.
But what's it called, man? We talking Costa next?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Oh,
And this is Knuckles and Max, Bourbon and Bud. Shout out Bourbon and Bud MMA podcast. Jimmy Flick is one of, I think, the first UFC fighter they had on for an interview. So like they're riding Jimmy Flick heavy, but boy, did it look bad.
Wait, before we get into that, that's my bad.
Is it Hong Kong?
We gotta talk Kong, but
But
also
Kong was a demon.
Carlos Hernandez getting that unanimous decision was nice because he was throwing hands. He was giving bro hands. I didn't know that he was a hitter like that. The fight stayed on the feet most of the time, even though they both went for 2 takedowns. They both got 2 takedowns, but like 108 total strikes, 102 significant
230
strikes.
27s.
Yeah, like he fucked bro up. I wasn't ready for that. I'm low key keeping an eye on bro. But Kong, wait, how you say his name?
I don't know how to say his first name, so I'm not going to disrespect him with that. But Ho Kang, I think that's his Ho Kang for the cocaine. Homeboy got the knockdown. After getting the knockdown, and he showed, oh, I'm gonna have some fun with it. Like I'm gonna submit you. I'm gonna take your back, get the neck, rear naked choke his ass. But like bantamweight just keeps getting more and more fun. Like Jit really had the hands and he had the submission.
Nah, definitely. And a rear naked choke is classic. And he was just waiting for him to give him his neck.
All right, now you can get into Costa and the ass whooping he laid on Jimmy Flick.
Oh my god! So first off, Jimmy Flick, stay blessed, man. We still hoping for the best.
Salute, brother.
We want everybody out here training in Florida to win, so that way we can start taxing niggas and saying like, yo, bro, Florida's the best MMA state. So we'd love to see our Florida fighters keep winning. But Costa is a fucking problem. He hit this man with at least 108 elbows to win this fucking fight. No 12 and 6s, which was crazy, but it was bad. I mean, it looked like Jimmy Flick was trying to do something in the first round, like staying alive, but like Costa could have finished it in the first too. Like I'm first in the first, a minute into the second. This fight was fucking vicious.
Yeah, and Costa, former Lux Fighting League champion, but his big thing for me is he hasn't lost. He has one loss, and it's to and his one loss in UFC. So Amir Albazi, who we just saw fight Kai Kara France, which was basically like the interim belt, damn near for that division of flyweights. But his one loss is to Albazi. That's not a bad loss. And other than that, he hasn't lost since 2018. Former Lux champion. So like him showing out that like, okay, yeah, I got knocked out by Abazi, who just fought Kai Kara France, 2 top 5 level guys. And he basically right that wrong for me, kind of thing. Like, okay, you just showed to everyone I'm not just a middle of the pack fighter. Like I'm a world level fighter. Yeah, I got a loss to one other world level fighter, but you put me in a cage against somebody like this is the result you're gonna get.
Nice. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. But from one elbow to the other elbow, Manuel Torres with the fucking first round minute and 50-second elbow that sent, how do you say it? Nicolas Mota to the shadow round. That elbow was I think arguably that's up there for KO of the year. That's like how clean it was and vicious it was.
Wait, time out. I can't remember which one was the UTD.
The what?
There was a unanimous technical decision in this fight, and I was like, oh, it was Hernandez when he got the. Oh, that's what I meant to bring up. For the Hernandez fight, Carlos Hernandez. So he pretty much, I don't know if you've seen it on the page, but this is how the fight ended. He got the knockout with 1 minute left.
Oh, with literally the 1 second left going into the buzzer beater. Yes.
And they called it because they bumped heads on the way down. So they called it a unanimous technical decision.
At 4 minutes and 59 seconds in the third round, a unanimous decision.
Bro, I've never even heard that. No, it was unanimous technical decision because because of the headbutt, they took out the KO. So he didn't get the performance of the night for that. Because that would have been a crazy knockout.
Yeah. Both of them, that's why I said from one elbow to the next elbow, because both of them those bows were vicious. Him on the top game and Torres from the stand up.
Nah, dead ass. But back to Torres. that definitely is my KO of the year so far. Because it was the way how smooth he was, the fact that he waited for the fact that he waited for it, waited for bro to walk in and just boom out of nowhere and immediately just killed him. Immediately took him to the sent him to the shadow realm.
But it's gonna be hard for KO to year this because I that one's up there. Izzy Piera's up there. Rob Font, Yanez on the same card is up there, and then Phil Rowe, like 2 fights ago. That remember when I sent you the video of the guy who felt like a sack of potatoes, just dropped. That was a Phil Rowe knockout. That's a like. There's a couple knockouts that are just so like, damn. It's gonna be kind of hard this year.
Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe that might not be. There's probably gonna be a couple of them, but that was my favorite knockout for sure.
It's
It was
definitely
just so
they're
smooth.
all in the nominations right now. Be happy you're all nominated.
They all nominated. There it goes. But no, that was a pretty crazy, and it was so early in the fight, and I think that was what kind of set the tone for the rest of this card. I was like, oh, this card's been a banger. Like once I saw that, I was like, oh, this is some crazy ass shit.
Then the next fight, I got a question: the Pat Sabatini versus Lucas Almeida fight, where it went 2 rounds in a minute and 48 seconds before Sabatini got the arm triangle choke for submission win. But Almeida threw a total of 5 strikes for 2 rounds, like a round and some change in the second round. Was this more on Sabatini just dominating him? He couldn't strike, or is this more of Almeida was just not throwing? Because I didn't watch the fight. I just see the numbers, and I'm just like, what the fuck? 5 total strikes. This went to the second round.
Yeah, Almeida was not. Sabatini was not going for none of that. That was Sabatini's a gangster.
So Sabatini basically just dog walked him for a whole round and a half.
Yeah, that shit wasn't even close.
Whew, that yeah, I see right now. So they fought for a total of 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Sabatini had 6 minutes and 27 seconds control time. That's insane. That is absolutely nutty.
That shit's crazy, man. And then he got the arm triangle. So I like arm triangles so nice because it's just like, bitch, who told you you could lay down here? Time to go.
Who thought you was safe?
Nah, for real. But to brush past the next fight, I heard a lot of people lost money. I would have been people if I had bet on Christian Leroy Duncan losing by unanimous decision.
I was hyping up Duncan. Like he was supposed to be this all flair fun prospect, but he looked like all flair but no results type of fighter. Like he was trying to do he did some spinning back kick and then started walking backwards towards the guy. And
Yeah.
like what the fuck are you I don't know, but that was something he was doing something different. Something different. That's all I can say.
I mean, Armin Petrosian, he's not bad. Definitely got to keep my eye on bro now. But yeah, everybody got a lot of money on CLD, and like a lot of people lost money that night.
Yeah, it wasn't even close, like, oh, bad decision. It was like, no, Petrosian won 2 rounds for sure, arguably 30, 27 your ass.
Nah, dead ass. I thought it was a 30-27, but I'm also agreeing like that.
And
But I
then
just wanted to.
and then we had Armin Saryukian. Both the Armins got dubs. But this one was kind of interesting because, like, yes, he got the KO. Yes, it was vicious. But Silva looked early round. Silva caught him a couple times. Like it wasn't the same Armin Saryukian that's been a buzzsaw. So it was just kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, Silva definitely. I mean, Silva's wrestling wasn't bad in this fight either. Like I feel like he yeah, there's only 9 minutes of control time. It's a lot, but in the beginning, I feel like he was trying to fight in bitches and he wasn't going for it. But Sarukian, I mean, and I look at so he took the fight on short notice. Nobody else wanted to fight Armin Sarukian. Like I respect it. I respect that he did things, and now because he wobbled, bro, it makes you ask the question like, is he really what's Armin's chin looking like? Because if he can wobble you, what the fuck you gonna do when you run into like a motherfucking this is lightweight, right?
Yeah, what if you run into fucking
Oliveira.
Rafael Vasiv?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What if you run into a Justin The
Dustin Poirier.
highlight reel Gaethje. What have you wrestled or to Benil Dariush? What have you like? There's some heavy hitters, fucking, and Dustin Poirier. Can never forget about him. Michael
Yeah,
Chandler even got heavy hands.
I think Darius and him is the next fight to make. But I love the fact that he finished this fight because he was on top of bro trying to get it. Fucking bro up. But yeah, I like the fact that he was able to finish this fight. But Sarukian, he has some hitters that he has. There's so many hitters in lightweight, and I'm starting to really like taking my gas pedal off of bantamweight. Like lightweight really is the premier division in the UFC. Like there's just so many motherfucking problems in that.
And I think it's always to be bigger market wise, just because at 155 is just like your average Joe. You know, there's a lot of 155ers that's walking around Earth, and then you can relate to these world champions. Like, damn, I can do that.
And I think it's the perfect balance too, because like 185, you're still kind of like you're when you get to 185, you're like really big. So like you're kind of more giant. There are people like Marvin Vettori, they're not as fast. But like when you get down to like 130 bantamweight, 135, you're like, oh, these guys are like small. There's a lot of like technical shit going on. That 155 is that beautiful balance. 155 and 170, they're that beautiful
Perfect
balance.
blend.
Yep, of strength and speed. I think for the top featherweights is the same thing, but they're just a perfect balance of strength and speed. So yeah, we love the lightweights, but Sarukian has to really. I mean, he didn't put on a bad performance even slightly, but it's just like, oh, he got to go ready, come in this motherfucker ready to wreck some shit.
Zaryukin is also very young. Like, so that's another thing that helps him a lot. Is like his losses are one of his losses is to Islam, the other one's to Gamrot, where a lot of people thought he beat, but Gamrot was just fighting in the top five. So, and then his other loss was 2 years, his second fight in MMA pro. So, like, can't hold that against him too much. So, like, he can get better over time, and he might have one of those runs where, like, yeah, he might have to wait out some of the tougher dogs at the top right now, but I think if he plays the long game, he could be champion in a couple of years. Like because I think once Islam steps away or Oliveira steps away, and he gets some of the things down packed, I think he could still beat a Poirier, an older Poirier, an older Gaethje, an old Rafael Vasiev will also be coming to his own. So that would be good to see. Like him and Vasiev could really be the future of this division.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel like that. I feel like there's still gonna be hitters in the back because you still got people like Matt Favola. You got like motherfuckers in the cut, like all the way
Patty,
back. Yeah, Matt Favola. I'm if I see Patty. Next time I see Patty fight, I want to see him fight like Ilya Taporia at a different weight. Make Ilya come up to
I need
lightweight.
to see a fat Patty at heavyweight.
Oh wow, against who? Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, PFL Super League. Sign me up.
But no, that's fucking crazy. But on to this, to the main event.
You was right, Kev. You was right.
You was right. You was right. I was wrong.
After the
I,
first round, I was feeling pretty good. After the first round, I was feeling pretty good. And then the ass whooping express said 2-2.
Nah, dead ass. You know what made me really pick Cannonier was that we out of all these fights, nobody's ever brought up his age. Like when he fought Izzy, nobody brought up his. When he fought Derek Brunson, nobody brought up his age. When he fought Izzy, nobody brought up his age. When he fought motherfucking Sean Strickland, nobody brought up his age. One of the big key factors that made me stay away from Vettori, even though I was leaning towards Vettori when it comes to like my fight IQ, but I was like, nah, because we never question Cannonier's age. We never questioned the Cannonier's age once. So like, why are we starting now? So like, that's what really made me kind of like lean towards Cannonier. The amount of motherfuckers that were going against Vettori, I'm like, yo, this is a close fight. Like, there's a chance, but Cannonier taught us otherwise. Breaking the motherfucking middleweight record for significant strikes landed with what do you do, like 214 or something like that?
241.
Sheesh. Damn, I'm dyslexic as fuck, but sheesh.
241. And like it was heavy strikes. Like sending him wobbling, sending him to the cage, stunning him, like the strikes that really would have put a lesser man down.
Nah, dead ass. And shout out to Marvin Vettori because like I've been telling everybody, his chin has to be made out of like titanium and like grade A Italian leather. Like this shit is crazy. The fact that you can survive the punishment from that. Like Rob Whitaker was crazy, but that punishment right there is insane because it looks like there are points of time where it looked like when Marvin was fighting back after the third round, when Marvin was fighting back and shit. There were points in time that it looked like Cannonier was taking more damage, but not really. It was just that Marvin's chin just does not move. I would love to do a deep dive and research on what the fuck is this man made out of.
This is a fight that if you have a buddy who doesn't watch UFC and you want to get him into it and you want to show him recent fighters, like this is a fight right here. This one right here was like because Marvin shot one takedown and got it, controlled for 30 seconds, got back up, and that was it. Like
My dog Cannonier shot three of them bitches and got all three of them.
Like, and he got some control time, but outside, but the stand, like, I know after the first round, like, damn, like, okay, Vettori looked good. He's already showing like he can connect on some punches. Like, if he can connect on the stand up, it might be a long day for Cannonier. But I don't know what happened after that round because second round, Cannonier lands like one strike that probably should have knocked him out. Another strike that wobbles him to the cage. Another. It was like I was really watching. Like, okay, when's Vettori going down? Oh, he's not going down. Oh, he's swinging back. Oh, like he looks like he's better now. Oh, Cannonier hit him again. Oh, like it was like all that for a lot of these rounds. Where I was like, bro, like every time Cannonier landed, it was a potential night Vettori, but Vettori's is cut different. I don't know. It's Italian. I don't know what it is, but the Max always still has the best chin, but Vettori's knocking on the door of who has the best chin.
No, I think he's notorious one blockheaded motherfucker. Like, yeah, I respect Vettori to the full. He gained a lot of my respect, and that's another thing. When he loses, he gains my respect. I don't know how that works because like against Whitaker, I feel like he earned my respect, and in this fight, he earned my respect. But Cannonier, this game plan he had of just being on his thing, especially after losing to Izzy the way he did, he felt like he was kind of scared. Like he didn't do an Aldana approach, but he was doing like an Aldana. He didn't really let them things go like that. If he keeps coming with this, he's moving faster than ever. He's getting his footwork right. Motherfucking, oh man, if he can do this, and he can like, if he can get a couple, I think if he gets one more win, I think he's one win away from from another championship on fight. And if he can get another win and he continues improving his game plan like this and just staying active, throwing a bunch of punches, letting them go, and then also still saying like, yo, I can take you down too if we need to get to the ground. Because he took him down with some really nice double leg takedowns. So
Sign
like,
me up for the Whitaker and Cannonier rematch. Last time they fought, it was a co-main event of Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. So they only fought for 3 rounds. 29-28 was all three of the scorecards, and Whitaker knocked him down once. But the significant strikes, Whitaker 69 of 151 versus Cannonier 53 of 89. Cannonier was got knocked down, of course, but also Whitaker shot 2 takedowns. Didn't get those takedowns. I think that there's like no both of these fighters really have nowhere to go because they both lost to Izzy at this point in their career. And at this point, I think you sign me up for both of them fighting each other. Interim belt. Fuck it.
this mess an interim belt. Now I like the idea. I don't know what the UFC got cooking right now because they're betting a lot of money on Dricus beating Robert Whitaker, which I doubt.
There's no
But
fucking way Dana White is betting his money on that, bro.
but that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. Izzy wants to fight Dricus. We don't. It's not that we don't want to see the Izzy Rob 3, but we're just like, don't waste it because there's not gonna be no Izzy Rob 4.
But
But
if Rob does win, and like you said, the UFC doesn't want to make it that fight. Let's say Rob does win, and I could see them being like, we still don't want to make that fight yet. You have to go beat Cannonier, who's coming off a win.
But Izzy likes to stay active. But I think Izzy wants to fight in September at in Australia. So who would he fight?
But you know what they say: when you're being great, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think this is wide open because the middleweight is wide open right now because people are even talking about Chris Weidman. If you were to string a couple of wins together, they might try to be like, oh, yo, because you know how they like to feed the old to the young. So
Who
they'd be like
is
that.
Weidman? No,
Yeah,
nah, bro. They digging deep
they
right
said
now
they
for
said
fighting.
they said they said if Chris Weidman were to string a couple wins together, two or three, hey man, they might that shit might sound like yo, that shit sound good. The guy that beat Anderson Silva.
Right, I give me fucking Anderson Silva on the Mayweather undercard, string a couple wins together, and let him fight Izzy before you give me Chris Weidman, bro.
I don't know, man. Chris Weidman versus
People
Israel.
are hyping up the return of Chris Weidman, so maybe I just I haven't looked into much of it, but they are hyping it up, so I don't know.
And you know how Dana White, the old former champion. Why don't you fight a new
Well,
champion?
fucking everything comes around full circle, bro. Like if Yoel Romero wins the belt for Bellator, cross promote, get the rematch, and tell both of them y'all got to throw more than 10 strikes this fight, and let them right the wrongs of their first fight. Let them go out there and just dog fight it out for fucking 5 rounds and cross promote it. That if I was promoting, that would be my thing.
I was gonna say I don't know who wants to tell him, but he just lost that fight.
Oh, he did lose there. Never
Right.
mind.
He lost evidence on Friday. He lost evidence on Friday.
No, then fuck it. Let him sign up back. You, Dana, send him a contract.
Hmm. And then eventually, anybody in the middleweight division has to fight Hamza.
But my thing about Hamza is like Hamza hasn't sounded like he really because Whitaker said he's ready for like Whitaker was like okay I'll fight him and then like that kind of like you didn't hear him bring up Whitaker's name again.
Hmm. And then because they said Jared Cannonier, they asked Jared Cannonier, would you be willing to welcome Hamza to the division? And immediately he said, "Will that get me a title shot? If he gets me a title shot, then I'll do it. If not, then it has nothing to do with me." And I was like, that was a gangster answer, but like nobody's taking that fight.
So this is the
Nobody.
current UFC middleweight rankings. Champ Izzy, number one ranked Alex Pereira, who's everyone knows is moving out. Robert Whitaker, who the UFC does not feel or want to make another fight for them. Marvin Vettori, who's already lost both his fights. Dricus Duplessis, which is maybe the saving grace for this fucking division and ratings for this division. Paulo Costa, once again, not a fight that the UFC wants to make again. Sean Strickland, who lost his last fight to Cannonier. Roman Delazzi, who lost his last fight to didn't he lose to fucking Sean Strickland? No, who the fuck did Roman Delazzi? He lost to somebody. Derek Brunson, who he's gone, he's done. And then Jack Hermanson, who's a fraud. Kelvin Gastelum, who just said he's probably moving up or moving down. He's moving weight classes. He's not even going to continue to fight at middleweight anymore. Nasadine Imavov, the France guy, maybe, but he's ranked 12. He's 12. He's still 2, 3 fights away from that. And then Brandon Allen, another guy who maybe, but again, he's a couple. He has to go beat Bruno Silva this weekend coming up. So like that's the fucking division right now, and it's like it's hard to even talk about any of those fights versus Izzy. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna have to fight somebody again. Fuck it.
I think Dana's just gonna have to fucking yank that leash on his ass. It's like you fucking fight when we tell you to fight. All right, we don't have a fight for you. Dricus lost. Dricus got murdered against Robert Whitaker. Take it up with Whitaker. It ain't our fault.
That's real shit, man. But we'll see what the future of the 185 weight class has, man. But that was the card, man. It was a great motherfucking card. I'm great, enjoyed itself. Motherfucking on for tough episode 4. That shit was a vibe. Trevor Wells versus Timur Valiev. He's Timur is a former, he's 18-3, former fighter in the UFC, and it's not like he lost. He went 2-1-1. He lost his last fight, and they just didn't renew his contract. So I'm guessing they probably thought he was boring or something. but he beat Trevor Wells, the dude that
That name
couldn't
sounds
fight
very
because
familiar.
he's a prospect on Team McGregor. He couldn't fight because he had that cold sore. So he beat Trevor Wells, or herpes, what Romeo Mack would say. But he beat Trevor Wells in a very close fight. Trevor Wells was like Trevor Wells was really punching him and going back and forth with him, not staying down on the wrestling. This was a pretty good episode. I like the fight. Um there wasn't too much talking. There's not enough Connor and Michael Chandler beefing. You would think they really don't like each other, but they just be chilling. But it was pretty good. But that was that episode 4. That's been probably one of my favorite episodes so far. My favorite part was the fights to get on the show. That shit was crazy. Oh no, I'm lying. I'm thinking of a different tough season. But hell yeah. But that was the card. UFC Vegas Fight Night 75. We learned Cannonier can throw the motherfucking hands. Marvin Vettori has a motherfucking chin. And Keith Peterson might suck.
Maybe.
But this has been a Totally Blitz podcast. We appreciate you for tuning into our Friday Night Fight Club. My name is Kev Waterboy Savoy. I'm in this bitch with Paul Pick and William Concha. And we got to make some moves, so we're going to catch y'all later. But before we go, don't forget that you's a bitch.